Hey everyone, minasama konnichiwa, boku no channel e yokoso. Today I'm here to talk about Written on the Wind from 1956 by Douglas Sirk. The word melodramatic often has a negative connotation, like calling something melodramatic sounds like an insult, but I've never subscribed to this. Firstly, I can't come up with a clear definition of the word that satisfies me. Heightened drama is one I see, but what is it exactly that makes a drama heightened? What does that even mean? How can you tell the difference exactly? Some might just say that they're cheesy or something, but to me, when watching such movies, that often translates to big emotions, which isn't that what drama's all about? The point is that Hollywood used to make lots of these so called melodramas back in the day, and director Douglas Sirk made several of the most endearing ones, including Written on the Wind. Like the best melodramas, this has those big emotions, but compared to other such movies, even by Sirk, this comes off more like a subtle character piece. Sure, there are big dramatic moments with loud music, but it's the quieter moments that leave the biggest impression. It's about an oil dynasty family, with four principal leads whose relationships to each other move the story along. Kyle, played by Robert Stack, is the alcoholic son of the head of the company, who, near the beginning of the movie, marries Lucy, played by Lauren Bacall, a secretary who, frankly, has a bit of a rushed introduction that makes it somewhat difficult to care. Mitch, played by Rock Hudson, is Kyle's best friend since childhood, who is basically a member of the family, who also loves Lucy, which sort of complicates his friendship with Kyle. Also, Mary Lee, played by Dorothy Malone, is Kyle's sister, who is deeply in love with Mitch and has been since childhood, although Mitch doesn't reciprocate those feelings. If this sounds like soap opera material, then I suppose there's a reason for that, but like I said before, I don't really think about movies in those terms. I instead see good actors playing interesting characters in interesting situations, and Cirque is able to imbue quite a few themes related to class and wealth, as well as more emotional ones like self destruction and unrequited love, which are the things that end up lingering the most. For me, the most interesting characters are Mitch and Mary Lee. Rock Hudson's performance in particular leaves the biggest impression on me, as a man who's pretty serious minded in his approach to things. He gets his heart broken early on when Kyle marries Lucy, but tries hard to never let his feelings show and stays loyal to his friend. But still, there's a lot of hurt in him, so much so that when he decides to move to Iran, it seems like a natural extension of his frustrations. Dorothy Malone is also great as Mary Lee, which won her an Oscar that year. She has a deep, unrequited love for Mitch and makes up for it by basically giving herself to various shady characters who don't make her happy. She's also fairly scheming and conniving, which at some points makes her seem like a villain, but Malone makes her sympathetic throughout, even if you don't agree with what she's doing. Robert Stack is also very reliable as the insecure, alcoholic playboy Kyle, who downward spirals big time by the end. And Lauren Bacall is fine, although I've never thought she was much of an actress, as much as it pains me to say it, but she's alright. What's stronger is the memorable color cinematography. I like how fluid it is. Like, one minute it'll be primarily a tannish brown color, and the next it'll be luscious and dreamlike, and the next it'll be beautifully dark and shadowy. This is done justice by Cirque's direction and subtle touches, the many mirror shots being a good example. They have various functions throughout the movie, but my favorite is this one, which this image alone says so much about Mitch's mental state and what his situation is like at the moment. Other examples of excellent direction make up my favorite moments of the movie. Fittingly, first up is a beautiful opening credits scene. Few other movies make it as clear as this one does from the very first frame that this is a flash forward to near the end, which is a pretty bold move in my book, considering we see quite a bit here. But the two best parts about this is that instead of just the title cards, we get the names of the actors as we naturally see who they're playing, which I think the only other time I've seen this done in another Cirque movie was when he did shortly after, The Tarnished Angels. Frankly, I haven't seen enough Cirque movies from his prolific career to know if these are the only two times he's used this technique, but I'd be surprised if any are better than in Written on the Wind. The other best part about this opening is the song. The moment the singing starts is when Rock Hudson spreads the curtains, and the timing of it is just perfect. When he sings A Faithless Lover's Kiss, I get chills down my spine. It's a brilliant opening credits. There's also a shot in here that's probably one of the cruelest visual jokes I can think of in the Hays Code era. Right after Kyle is told that there's a good chance he's impotent, He gets upset and goes outside, where he sees a boy aggressively and happily riding a horse. The music flares up and they both look at each other as if they're competitors. Like, that little kid knows what's up. Another great piece of sexual symbolism is the ending, which I'm almost tempted to not spoil, but I have to. Without saying how it got to that point, at the end, Mary Lee is left in charge of the business while Mitch leaves her. We see the devastation on her face as she accepts her new position, knowing that she'll be all alone. She then grabs a model oil rig and starts caressing and stroking it, all while her father's portrait is unwittingly watching in the background. It's hard not to be reminded of the shot from Airplane where Lloyd Bridges stands in front of a picture of himself. Anyway, what's there to be said about this shot? It literally says it all. I remember the first time I saw this movie and how blown away I was by this shot. I was like, now this is how you end a movie. But in the end, what I love about Written on the Wind is how it has all the characteristics of a good old fashioned melodrama, which, even though I can't quite define the term, is a genre of movies that I enjoy very much. But Sirk's direction sort of imbues it with the kind of subtlety and theme, performance, and symbolism that sticks with me. It of course has its over the top moments, but they always seem organic with Sirk's overall strategy, which is probably what makes the film so memorable. It's one of my 1000 favorite movies. Thanks for watching my video. Goshou makoto arigatou gozaimasu. Have you seen Written on the Wind? Please let me know what you think in the comments. I think of all of my favorite movies as friends, and I think of my audience as friends too.